It's Friday, Feedback Friday, the feedbackiest day of the week. Ah. See, I did the song, guys. Some people get disappointed if I don't do the song. But yeah, I'm only recording this less than 2 hours after this video from Thursday went live. And the stupid has already begun now. I don't want the people who participated in this dialogue for the most part to feel like they're being spanked, because as you'll notice right now, it's more likes and dislikes. This isn't a lot of activity, but some people are being dumb in the comments. Other people are being very, very cool in the comments. So I appreciate the people who are being very cool, and even people who are disagreeing are, for the most part, disagreeing respectfully. I was expecting some Muslim bashing from people who don't quite get it. But the comment I want to deal with on Feedback Friday actually happened through Twitter. And I'm not going to show the tweet because I don't call out like that. People sometimes refer to talking about a person without naming who they are as subtweeting. But this is a modern thing that actually doesn't make a lot of sense to me. You can discuss an idea without opening a particular person up to online attacks. And when you can do that, I don't see why you wouldn't. So discuss ideas, not people. Sometimes I will reference the name of the person if they are a public person, because that is part of being a public person. You know, I am subjected to that myself, so it's fair game. But what this person, who is a private person, they're even an anon, said was that this video, which, well, watch the video, but this video where I adapted an essay from George Orwell was the erasure of the serious anti-Semitism going on in Britain today. Erasure. And then the person who has, social justice in their Twitter profile, it's weird, they have hashtag social justice and then hashtag Gamergate in their profile, which I'm like, this exists? This happens? And they have not your shield, but they're throwing identity politics at me. I'm assuming this person doesn't know I'm Jewish, and they backed off for a bit, admitting they'd knee-jerked, and then they told me I was stealing the words of a dead author. And I'm like, whoa! People who have listened to my channel before and watched my channel before know I'm a big hip-hop fan. I grew up in a neighborhood where hip-hop was really dominant, and sampling was, it is a huge part of hip-hop music. And this idea that adaptation is stealing is nuts. Now, if I hadn't sourced the original video, if I was trying to take it like, this is my words, aren't I brilliant? That would be stealing, but it's not. I gave credit where credit's due, and this essay, it's an essay. It's not a work of fiction. It's something he wrote knowing it was going to be disseminated publicly. It's part of the public domain. So I sourced it right here, and I encourage people to go and read the original, thinking it's brilliant. But this is this social justice thing that we can only ever deal with it with one thing at any given time. And you're hearing this trickle into the US presidential debates, especially the Democratic debates. And it's driving me crazy. This idea that we can manage world issues one at a time, and that the world is neat, and that there's only ever space for one thing, and the most important thing is, whatever a particular individual tends to personally care about at any given time. And it's like, that's not life. That's not life. You have to deal with all the issues that are facing people in some way, even if certain issues may not be what directly affects you the most or what you consider to be the most important. And right now, we do not have, and I don't know if I mentioned this, I'm Jewish, So obviously, I have seen anti-Semitism. I have experienced anti-Semitism. I think anti-Semitism is terrible. But right now, we don't have a Jewish migrant crisis. We don't. That happened. And the reason I used an essay from 1945 is that there was actually a Jewish refugee crisis in Europe at that point, and people weren't that happy about it. And right now, we have a refugee crisis from the Arab world. And not everyone involved in the migrants is Muslim. But people are talking about the Muslims having a radically different culture than us. And the reality is there's a lot of Christians within the migrants, and there's a lot of differentiation. There's a lot of difference between the different beliefs, between with the Kurdish people and the other types of Sunni and the other types of Shia, and Kurds are Shia, I believe. See, it's very confusing, but I'm not going to deny these differentiation exists just because I don't understand them as well as I should. But to me, trying to make this issue simple is an erasure of difference, but adapting a work while citing the original work is not erasure. And I'm sick to death of this social justice tendency to try to bully and silence people through big clobber words. Erasure? You keep using this word. I do not think it means what you think it means. And even when you give the person the opportunity to correct or back off, instead of just muting them, which is what most sane people should do, they don't appreciate the fact that you give them a chance by going, what? On what planet do you get this? And instead of recognizing that here is a person who I was not very nice to, taking the opportunity, taking time out of their day to have a conversation with me. And you see that sort of logic kick in at first with the social justice warrior, and they start to climb down. Oh, I knee-jerked, or oh, apologies, this is just something that's very important to me. But then the minute you talk to them like they talk to you, and you actually challenge their ideas instead of treating them like a special snowflake, they go right back to being that aggressive bully. And that's where it went to, sorry, I knee-jerked, to you're stealing. Oh, give me a break. And when that re-escalation happens in a conversation, I'm like, I actually said, you're out of your mind on this, bye. And that's all you can really do. And the funny thing is this person completely missed the point of what Orwell was saying in this essay, is that we have to confront the irrational, knee-jerk reactions we all have in our own minds. That is the mark of an intellectual. So don't come to me, say something patently absurd that's a raging overreaction, admit it was an overreaction, and then follow up with another overreaction. You're not going to get a dialogue out of me or anyone else that way. But that makes sense, because as Orwell said, these people are impervious to logic. They can be rational other subjects, but get them on this particular topic and they become just completely impervious to reason. And the only thing you can do is not talk to them about it. The problem is they won't let you not talk to them about this one thing. It is so important to them that they force it into conversations where everyone is just trying to have a nice time. And then it makes everyone uncomfortable because they know this person is unpleasant and has no scope, no meter on this particular topic. And so what people who force their beliefs on other people like this are doing, when they won't stop and they won't change the subject and they won't recognize that people don't care to talk about this, is they're hijacking the conversation. They're holding everyone else hostage through their own attempt to go along to get along and be polite. And I'm just so sick of that. So that's my little thought. I'm trying to keep it short to respect other people's time, and this is sort of unpleasant, but hope you enjoyed it. And overall, guys, thanks for being relatively mature about this. Yeah, there were some jerks, but it stimulated some good conversation. Some people had some interesting ideas. Really, still kind of hot, but I expected that. By hot, I mean, people have very strong feelings about this, but that's expected. But it's a start, right?